name is John Katowski, and I'm here today chairing the Shade Tree Commission meeting for January 10th. So we have a quorum, although I don't believe we have a great deal on the agenda to do. I do not believe there are any Title 33 issues that we need to deal with today, nor any Title 37 issues. We did get a message from Rick, the code officer, and he indicated that there have been, since we last met, there have been 2 projects that have been submitted, one for an interior renovation project at the Stumac building on the corner of Stewart Street and State Street. He indicated to me that based on what they were doing, they were required to have 1 tree, and they have met that requirement. They've exceeded that requirement. So didn't feel there was any reason to have to come before the committee here, or the commission. And then the other one is a project going on, an expansion project going on out at Little Fish out on Armitage Road. And there again, the situation is such that they've completely exceeded the tree requirements, and they do, as a business, plan to continue to add trees at their site over the next several years. So, so neither one of them require anything on our part. Ron Lucas is not able to make it today, so I've got no report at all from the city on. And I don't know if anybody on the committee wants to discuss or talk anything, have any discussion about the maintenance of the tree canopy. Is there any issues that we need to take to the city administration or anything at this point?
I just had a question about Little Fish Brewery, and I haven't read the Title 37 in a while. But is there any requirement? Just do trees just have to be on the property, or do they have to be so that they're actually shading some pavement, or close enough to act as a cooling?
So my understanding is that there is no location requirement other than they be on the property. And they would look at the impervious surface and calculate the number of trees required, including the addition. And if they meet that requirement, then I don't believe that I do not believe there is anything that we would
in the ordinance. You know,
Right.
I thought of that though when I was looking at that one we did last time. All the trees were way out here, and the building is over here.
Right.
And there's no way this is going to perform any kind of benefit to the cooling and.
Yeah, that's a good point. And in fact, you know, I've been there a number of times, and the building itself faces west. And so when people, you know, they've got a garage door that opens up, and when people sit there in the summer, it can be terribly oppressive with the sun and the heat there, you know, and it's, you know, trees somehow incorporated there on that west side near the building would make a lot of sense, as well as other locations around the pavement, I think. But that's something, again, as we start to talk about revisions to the Title 37 recommendations to the
we should
city,
think about
we
that.
should think about that, absolutely.
Not just for the comfort, but also
the heat makes people drink more cold beer, though, so that's probably.
What's that? What?
I think the heat makes people drink more cold beer, so that's probably on purpose. But they're
but people want to sit outside.
Sure.
So that makes people want to stay and drink more beer.
Right.
It's not just
you know,
the
I'm not sure
people,
where the
it's
property
energy
line
itself.
is, but you know, there could be benefits providing shade along that bike path. There could be benefits also shading the stream, you know, for fish as well. Even if it's far away from the building, there could be some benefits.
Yeah, that's true.
But the optics are better if there are some trees close by, you're actually shading, because then other people will say, well, Little Fish, you know, they didn't plant any more trees, so why, you know what I mean? I think that would be good. And since they are planning to plant them anyway, we might say,
Put a bug in their ear.
glad you meet these requirements. Now, when you're planting, here's some suggestions.
Well, not only is it the way it looks and how it presents itself to the public and the shade for people, it's the energy that we're saving, and that's even more important, I think.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've lost my train now, but there was
good point.
Another point. Oh, the orientation, and if the trees are on the west side, that means that afternoon, particularly for businesses like that, the afternoon is to be more shaded, and that's where the bulk of the heat comes anyway.
Right.
Is in the from the west. So, because the western
exposure.
exposure.
For many years lived in a house with a west facing
Yeah.
patio. It was pretty bad.
And in fact, in their case, they're not open except in the afternoon.
Exactly.
And afternoon and evening. And
Right. So taking advantage of that, and a lot of people, I think, still don't know that one tree can provide the air conditioning, cooling of 5 or more room air conditioning units. So it's a really significant savings. And they installed some solar panels. I mean, they seem to be aware of.
They're interested in it anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll include that in the minutes, and we can as we begin to think about and sit down and talk with Peter and City Council about the ordinance. Maybe we
good.
can
I called the Audubon Society and asked them for any help they could give us in putting together some information about the benefits of trees, so that we wouldn't have to do it or take it from somebody else that has already done it. So they at first thought I wanted help with our problem, which I didn't. I said, just want some paper, Yeah. And so I haven't heard back from them since I clarified what it is I was after. So I hope they'll help us out with it. But if not, there may be other organizations that would. And I had some stuff from Anne from that educational thing I went to, and I could ask her how much of that we could just take.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Forest Service has a lot of that too. I've got access to some of that.
Okay.
Urban forestry.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you? What do you mean you have that? You mean they're lying there to pick up, or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just articles I've written as well. I mean, there are lengthy literature reviews on the benefits of urban trees. So I'm sure you could pull that off the Forest Service website.
Well, we had talked about it a long time ago, I think, before I knew you, or maybe it was just at the same time that you were here. I was starting to, and we talked about it for people, but I think we also need it for the Ordinance 37 people.
Sure.
So they understand what it is that we're talking about. It's not just because we're cranky, or
And the other issue that I thought about on our way here is that the advantage that native trees have, which we try to encourage people to plant, but it's not just. I mean, there are many good reasons for it, but also in terms of birds and wildlife, it's really important because a lot of the foreign trees, the trees from other countries, do not support the same kind of wildlife. So they do not have the massive numbers of insects and caterpillars, which are so important for bird life. Yeah. So, that's another reason to encourage people to look at natives when they're planting.
And maybe we could put that in the ordinance even to,
Right.
Or star the ones that are on the list, or something like that.
Okay.
Some way to
bird
encourage.
friendly or bird friendly trees.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about the tree canopy, or any other?
They keep going down in my neighborhood. This is boy, it's really looking grim.
Because of all of the trees that are dying, Is there any other discussion we want to have? Going to end this meeting real quick.
Okay.
So then we're down to the December 13th minutes, and So they were sent to us. I'm sorry, I apologize, I couldn't print them off and get them copies, hard copies for us, but hope everybody had a chance to look at it, and if we're ready, or if somebody wants to review them quickly, I can pull it on my phone, but otherwise, if we're ready, I'll entertain a motion to accept the December 13th minutes.
I so move.
And a second?
I'll second.
Okay. So with a and then I assume everybody's all in favor of accepting those minutes.
Yes.
So, okay. So with that, I think we're essentially adjourned. We have our next meeting is on Valentine's Day, February 14th at 4 o'clock.
And
that
John,
right?
you're bringing your refreshments, right?
I'll do that. Sure. Okay. Thanks so much.
So